Hi, everybody. This is Derek Smith. Welcome to Derek's Media Services. Today, I want to welcome you all here, and we have a special guest, Brenda Smith, here, um, talking about the week 3 of the update from Shelter at Home.
Yep. So it's been 3 weeks really
Yes,
since we have stayed at home,
yeah,
correct? Yep.
and then this time I'll turn it over to Brenda to talk about the one page.
Well, we'll do that too. So it's been a few days since we've kind of given an update as we've tried to get used to some new routines, right?
Yeah,
So if some of you might have remembered in the first webinar that we did,
or Force 4.
yep, we talked about the struggle it is to have all of your routines kind of turned upside down in one day.
Yeah.
No longer going to work or
Anymore, yep.
Yeah, or doing the volunteering that you had done, correct?
Right.
Right. And that's been a pretty big adjustment. So we developed a trajectory to make sure that Derek had some say into what he wanted things to look like. We looked at an integrated support star to say, what kind of support, what resources do you have?
And then
during
also I
this
got our
time?
new security systems.
Oh, we did that too.
Yeah.
And then on our third webinar, we talked about developing a new routine. And we've done that. So
As you
Derek,
see
do you want
here-
to talk about this a little bit?
This is the calendar here
Mm-hmm.
that we do before we get too much easier.
Yeah. So from the information we gathered on that trajectory, if you recall, we took that information and said, we've got to develop a new routine.
Yeah,
Got to find some things to look forward to in the day,
yeah,
to keep you happy,
yeah,
content, right? To
Yeah.
have things to do. And so we always transfer it to a whiteboard, but this is from the information that we gathered from those particular tools. And so some of the new things and some of the things that he had in his routine, he can still do. It's just he has to do them a little different, right?
yeah,
Instead of going to Bible study,
all the time. Yeah,
what are you doing for Bible study?
Zoom.
We're doing Zoom calls with your Bible study group. And that's
And
worked
same
out.
with book club too.
Well, book club is something new, right?
You'll
We decided to
create a group.
create a group, and by Zoom, you are having a book club
Every 2 weeks.
twice a week, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So on Mondays and Thursdays, you have a book club where you meet with a group online, read a short story.
like if it's far away, like Yankton, whatever.
Well, yeah, because one of your members lives in Yankton, and that's been kind of fun to get together and something to look forward to.
Yeah, and one in town here.
Yep. And now we're going to add a new event on Wednesdays, and tell me about that.
So, for those of you don't know, my new friend Chris Hines from Pinnacle Production
In Sioux Falls.
in Sioux Falls are going to do DJ. You want to explain it to him?
Yep, he's going to do a DJ. So Derek created a Derek's Music Party on Wednesdays from 1 to 1:30, and
Every week.
yep, it's a group, and if you join the group, you can put in one of your favorite songs, and maybe that'll get played by the DJ.
You don't have to dance or nothing. Just
You
listen.
don't have to, but if you want to at home, you sure can, don't you think?
Or sing. Don't have to either.
No, you don't have to. Not one of your favorite things?
Nah.
You like music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can. Yeah.
So that's going to be great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lots of fun. And then, of course, in addition to those sorts of events that he has to look forward to, we included things like household chores, washing clothes,
Yeah.
cooking meals, ordering groceries online,
Yeah.
and those sorts of things. But it really helps to have a new routine. And one of the kind of rituals that we do is practically every night
Yeah.
is Derek will ask, what are we going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
So we kind of go back to that calendar and we go through, well, first we're going to
Yeah.
get up
Yeah.
and, not necessarily have a certain time.
And then walk around the neighborhood.
Oh, you also get a walking in because you walk the dog and get exercise, get the mail. Mm-hmm.
And bike ride if needed.
Yep. Now, one of the things I've noticed, Derek, since 3 weeks ago, if we look back at your first video,
Yeah.
you didn't have some of this.
Right.
So what'd you decide?
Have a beard.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
You kind of decided to take a break from shaving and
Yeah.
grow a beard.
Yep.
Well, that's okay too, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. And when this is all over, what are we going to need?
Haircut.
We will both need haircuts, won't we?
Yep.
Yep. So the one on the last webinar that we talked about was developing what?
A 1-page.
Yep. A 1-page profile.
As you see here.
Yep. You can see it up there. And that is just in 1 page. You can see it's just on the front. To get to know you.
Yep.
Yep. To help people get to know Derek in a meaningful way. So it includes the great things about him, the positive qualities and characteristics. It includes what's important to you.
Yep.
And we got that information from doing his trajectory. And then we also put on there what support he needs.
Yeah.
And the reason that we developed that 1 page was thinking about this time during COVID-19.
That we're in right now.
That we're in, right?
Yeah.
That just in case Derek would need to have someone else provide support.
If there's another COVID or whatever.
Right. Or somebody else need to step in for us and provide some care and support for you.
Yep.
How would they know what matters to him and what support he needs on a day-to-day basis to help him be happy, content, and also safe and healthy as well?
And understand.
Yep, and understand what matters to you. So we developed the 1 page, right?
As you see.
Yep. And it's got quite a bit of information on it.
And it's some right on the site.
Yep. And so this is, there's quite a bit of information. And if we had somebody else providing support for Derek, they could read that 1 page.
With no problem, yep.
And really get a good idea about who Derek is and what matters
to him. And I'll just say, if you want to get to know me, this.
That's true, isn't it? Well, we started talking about, we thought we were kind of finished with documents.
But I guess not.
No, because we started talking about maybe there's one other 1 page that we could create at this time. And this one is a 1 page for Derek that is
medical.
For medical care. Now, these aren't the most...
understand.
These aren't the easiest conversations to have, are they?
Right, if you get it, but...
Right. So they aren't the easiest conversations, but I think they're necessary conversations. So this is a lot of information, and we thought if Derek needed medical care himself or medical attention, that to get to know who he is and what kind of support he needs.
Because neighbor's right beside me.
You have a neighbor, that's helpful, isn't she? Anyway, we would put together a medical 1 page. And what you'll notice is between the one for a caregiver.
That's number 1.
And the one for medical care.
2, yep.
Are pretty different. The one for a potential caregiver has a ton of information.
As you see.
Mm-hmm. And the one for medical care.
That's kind of short. But
that's a lot shorter. It has just the essential information that hospital staff, a doctor, would...
or a social worker.
Well, exactly. But they would know what matters to Derek, and they would know how to interact with him. They would know how to share information with him, what works and what doesn't work, and how to help him if he's anxious or scared.
Or stressed.
Or stressed out as well. And so we would encourage everybody to think about
those
putting
two
those
things
together.
Yeah.
Now you notice I created them. We put them in plastic sheets because we wanted them to stay...
like in a binder.
Well, not necessarily. In fact, we're going to use these holes at the top, and we're putting a hook by the door.
Every time.
And we're going to hang these there so that in the event that they were needed in a quick situation, we wouldn't have to dig through a file or go into a binder.
Then I'll be like, what?
That's true. Yeah. But you would know that that's with you. And sometimes Derek would just tell people, you can read my 1 page, right?
And don't ask me about getting to know me, because it's already there.
It is already there. Yep. So a couple things that I want to point out about his medical one page. You know, they could look up in his medical records.
They can make a copy if they wanted.
They could make a copy of this too for other people. Um, but they could look up in your records and get all the information about medication when he was, some of his medical.
And what pills.
Yep, what medication you have, what pills you take, um, what procedures you've had done in the past.
Like, there's like almost 5 or some.
Yep. But what they wouldn't get from that are the things that make Derek feel
Stressed.
well, that kind of take the stress away, right?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't know necessarily how do you share information with Derek so he can understand. What kind of support does he need to make decisions? Who would you contact if Derek was stressed or anxious and needed to talk to somebody, or what would you do?
Or don't have to, yeah.
They would need to know that Derek likes people first off to introduce themselves. Tell them your name and what your role is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I want to know that so they know, so I know
what their name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it's best if you write it on a whiteboard or a piece of paper so that he knows. They would also need to know that he needs to know and be shown how he would ask for help if he needed it. Who would he ask for? Where's the call button? What does it look like? And then explain in plain language when might be the event or the type of time to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Yep. So there are 2 ways to
As
put
you
it
see,
together.
Yep.
There's some of the same information, but remember when we talked about the one page, we always say, first and foremost, think about the purpose. What do you want it to accomplish? And the information that then contained in the one page should reflect the purpose that you have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the one pages, right?
Yep, as you see.
Yep. And like I said, we're going to put a little hook or rings through it, and we're going to hang it by the door just in case.
Yeah.
We would feel much better knowing that people would understand who he is and some of the support
and where I'm from.
Yeah, and to make you comfortable, feel safe and secure. And that was one of the things that was important to you in this, wasn't it? To feel secure, feel safe.
Like the cameras that I have out there.
Well, that too. That was another thing that through this that we had decided in our conversations, right?
Yeah.
That you wanted to feel safe and you wanted to have some control over knowing if somebody was at the door, who it was, and so on.
Because then I have to have a phone to look at the security camera.
Yep, there's lots of ways that we think about safety, and not only do we talk about physical safety, but we also talk about some of that emotional safety as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to create your one pages,
let us know on that.
Well, and what do we have for that?
For those of you don't know, this is the information guide that would really help you.
Yep. We put together a guide so that during this time, during this pandemic,
I would recommend printing the guide out.
Yep, you can. You wanted to make one, but you're not quite sure how to start it.
Yep.
It kind of walks you through the steps of starting and also gives you some prompts on what information might I include. And of course, you want it to be specific to your loved one. Now, one thing that, Derek is in his 30s.
34.
What? Yeah. You're in your 30s.
Yeah.
And having a one page is for someone like you. Having a one page is for anyone at any age and stage of life. Having one if you maybe have an elderly family member.
Like Linda Powell's mom, for example.
Yep, your friend Linda Powell, her mom. Someone who might need some support, and someone who might not, just for anyone who doesn't have their own voice, a one page would be great in that situation, correct?
Yes.
It is, I always tell people you should always develop it alongside and with the person, get as much input from the person it's about, like Derek, as possible.
Always talk to me, not.
Oh, that's one thing we probably should have added, right?
Yeah.
Tell you, don't talk to your mom and act like you're not there.
Right.
Okay.
Because I just want to make sure so that it's just my own way that I have to have.
Because if something's about you, you want people to talk about it, right?
Correct.
To you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point. Maybe that's something that we should add to that.
Yep, for those if they don't know.
That's correct. So a one page can be for anyone, though, at any age or stage.
Only talk to me for this.
Yep, or the person that you're making it about. Now, if the person isn't able to contribute for whatever reason, maybe they don't use words to communicate.
You don't have to, but...
No, you don't. But you would include people who know and care about them a lot, that know them well, so that they would be able to contribute from that person's perspective.
Doesn't have to be perfect or nothing.
No, I think the main thing is to get the information down.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, in addition to the medical one,
as you see.
Yep. Anybody that knows person-centered thinking.
For those if they don't know.
You could add a communication chart. If someone communicates.
And have a picture that they want.
Oh, yes. It's important to add a picture of the person. But you could add a communication chart. You could also add additional information and put on the back. Maybe there's something that you would want them to know. Any sensitivities or allergies, or just depending upon the person, if there's extra information.
And let me know if you're not feeling so great, or if you're out of tone or something, because it's kind of hard when I wait for someone. It's just.
Oh, are you talking about when somebody comes to hang out? That hasn't happened for a long time.
I know, but I'm talking when there's someone like that.
Yep. You always like to know if somebody isn't able to come, or there's going to be a change in the plan.
Or on their way, yep.
Okay, yep. So there's one page, there's a template, examples, and we have a guide. If
and there's a
website
interested. For that.
Well, we haven't posted that yet
but we will sometime, yep.
Yep, and we also have been thinking quite a bit, not only about preparing in this way, but we've also...
Since I didn't work anymore.
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
You miss people?
Yeah.
One of the things that we've talked about a lot is the relationships and the people.
Yeah.
Derek misses and those sorts of routines.
Co-workers.
And so we've talked a lot about how are we going to get through, how do we cope.
But it's hard for me to do that.
Yep. And so next week we're going to be talking to somebody and hopefully sharing that with you.
Her name is Dr. Karen Harvey.
Yep. We're going to have a conversation with her and say, can you give us some tips about coping?
Or any books that...
Oh, can you recommend any resources, any books like that?
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else you can think about? We've talked about kind of giving an update on your calendar, your routine.
One page.
Your one pages. People should have...
And a guide.
One or two. Two one pages, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
And follow this guidelines, because the guide will show you ways how to create your own.
Yep. And that would be a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Yep. So we hope everybody is staying safe.
Please join us for the live discussions with Dr. Karen Harvey next week.
And what about the music party?
And same with next week.
If you're a music lover, be there or be...
square.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
So, happy holidays to you all.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Bye. And... Nope.